So let's have a look at the second part of our presentation now. Exploring the strategies and ideas that our brewers are using to survive, even thrive. First of all, the business model shift that we're seeing. So the wholesale off-trade driven revenue model saw brewers get a large amount of their revenue from selling into the retailers and then selling that product on to consumers. So that enabled them to sell their packaged goods into wholesale, but then they needed some pull-through plans. Often you needed sales personnel and headcount to be able to help pull those units through the retail, and you had less control on the customer experience when it was in, hopefully, hundreds of retailers. But if you did want to have some control over that and set up any experience or pop-out messaging in those places, you again needed sales or merchandising folks to do that for you. What we're seeing is a move back to the taproom and hospitality venue-driven model. Some people forgot that their best asset was the revenue that they had on their own site. So that allowed them to make high margins through draft and food at taproom. It was a controllable environment, and there was a return to that business model that was direct to consumer through social media and e-commerce as well. There are plenty of examples on how this operates really well in the Asian region too. Taprooms, of course, have their own unique ability to have taproom-only releases with that scarcity and exclusivity. Taprooms also have the opportunity to host functions, birthdays, engagements, even weddings, those beautiful key moments that drive community and love around those brands and are, of course, your revenue and your revenue only. You can also give local consumers a fantastic experience or an event to leave the house for. We're seeing brewers put on music festivals, food festivals, cinema festivals, film festivals, all sorts of things that bring people in for a fantastic excuse to consume their high margin food and drink on their premise and have a great experience with their friends as well. You can also, through e-commerce, sell merchandise, and a subscription revenue model that we haven't seen done super well in beer, but I look to wine as a fantastic model where you receive new wines every month, every quarter, and that subscription revenue ticks over, coming straight out of your credit card, and is an automatic audience of people you can deliver product to on a regular basis. Of course, waste reduction, sustainability and efficiency can really help as well. How can you put less stuff that costs you money in the bin? I once had a conversation with a customer who was buying 50,000 cans, knowing that they would throw out over half of them because they thought that was the only way to buy packaging. Incredibly wasteful. Reduction of wastage through counter pressure or versus gravity or atmospheric fill as well is a consideration on your filling lines or with your filling contract manufacturers. Beer powered by nature is the holy grail. Hamish is around from Rocky Ridge, and these guys are running 100% of their brewery off solar in Western Australia. They've worked with some fantastic partners to be able to do it, and it's truly a holy grail to make beer from nature, and a great way to save some costs as well on energy. Lastly, being sustainable from a values, ethics, and a brand point of view is also very beneficial. Looking at right-sizing your procurement model as well for your business, there is the just-in-case philosophy that most have had to order under in the past. Order lots and keep it on hand. Maybe you have to store it. It has a low reliance on demand forecasting. You just have it all sitting there when you need it. But all costs are often borne up front, if not by cash, at least as a liability on your balance sheet. We're seeing people move to just-in-time with the help of businesses like East Coast. They get what they want when they want it. It reduces the storage that they need. It has a high reliance on demand forecasting though, but you only bear the costs as it ships or as you use it. So how does that work for customers of East Coast in Australia? It's ultimate flexibility. They can get one layer of artwork, a couple of hundred cans. It's delivered in weeks, not months. Our customers have no artwork set up plates or colour fees. They can do 16,000 colours. We can print photos, gradients, anything like that, metallics, spot gloss, those sorts of things. You can put multiple artworks on a pallet to save space. In your brewery, you only pay for what you order, and you can use this in tandem with other suppliers as you need, just like a friends with benefits. The right range should also reflect your customers and communities. We're seeing a lot of people open up into Other categories, there's some high ABV lemon drinks that are going crazy in Australia that we've grabbed from Asia actually. The Suntory -196s and other things. So people are opening up their brand to new folks. They're doing collaborations with other brewers. A beautiful can we printed here for Mountain Culture with Sierra Nevada. They're playing with formats because the retailers said, hey, 500ml high ABV drinks, they're not selling. So we had a customer come to us and say, we're going to make an art of flight and we're going to put them in 250ml cans instead so that we can command a lower price but still sell our NPD and our limited releases through retail and our tap room. People are also doing collaborations with the community to ingrain themselves in culture, in sport, and we see a great example here of partnering with a local football club to do that as well and have their own beer available in the local pubs and in the tap room and at their events at the footy club as well. Diversifying beyond beer, I've mentioned as well, lots of things going on in ginger beer, lots of things used to go on in seltzer. Winemakers are entering spritzers. Brewers are making energy drinks now in Australia. We helped our first brewers do that in a caffeinated functional beverage space recently. Everyone's moving into ready to drink, brewers and distillers, and I noticed there's something on that today on the program that you can check out. And people are doing collaborations with local businesses like J. Gardner Homes here. These folks build local homes and they're giving away beers in every home they build as well. Working capital and cash flow, of course, is a matter of life and death. People moving from just in case to just in time means they only pay for what they need when they need it. That's gaining some significant pace with our customer base. Holding less and running production runs more often also mean there's better quality product that is getting in the hands of consumers as well. Brewers are renegotiating where they can, and suppliers as partners are enabling these changes to the business model as well. So that is the end of the two parts of the presentation. I'll finish off now with some learnings perhaps for our Australian colleagues, not our Australian colleagues, our Asian colleagues, I'm sorry. Forgot where I was for a second. Checking your business model, how is that suiting going forward for you? Are you using your tap room to maximise your high margin opportunities? Have you got the right procurement model in place, or do you have no other options? Are you going to be ringing me in a minute and saying, hey, our MOQs for cans in Asia are 100 or 250,000 units. Can you fill a pallet, please? And we'll get a few brewers on board and we'll send a container of multiple brewers into Asia. Let's have that chat. Are you right fitting your range? How can sustainability maybe save you some money? And are you managing your working capital appropriately? I'd love to have a chat with you after this. We haven't unfortunately got time for questions, but you can add me on LinkedIn by scanning this QR code or take a photo of this contact slide. I'll be around the next 2 days and I would love to have more of a conversation with you on anything that has been raised in today's presentation. For those watching or listening at home, I will put in the comments my contact details as well so you can get in touch. Aside from that, thank you very much for your time and have a great conference.